when you're approaching a new part of your life or something that you want to get to the next level, do not hang out with merely people that have the same opinion and experience as you. It's not just opinion, remember, it's experience. You don't want to have just, like I said, like 5 people that do the same thing. Imagine if you were playing a game of soccer and your team consisted of only goalies. Do you see what I mean? That makes no sense. Like, there is a strength in having different positions and different views and different experiences and expertise. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today's topic is social diversity improves collective intelligence. Why you must surround yourself by people with differing expertise and opinions. So, what does this mean? Let's go ahead and start breaking this down. Alright, so there have been a couple of these topics on this channel that we've covered. Now, basically this one is social diversity means that the people that you have around you, that you keep in your social circle, your friends circle, maybe even some of your family members, maybe in a professional sense, need to have a diverse list of expertise, of interests, of opinions, okay, of experiences. Because the more of those different ones you get around each other, the more it boosts collective intelligence. And what that means is, like, eventually that group of people will become more than the sum of their parts. When you add together different experiences, it's not as much adding them as multiplying and compounding them, even exponentially. Because experience and expertise and good ideas and all of that stuff, they begin to overlap and they begin to mate with each other and create many more new products, because we're having skills and processes and experience overlap, and you're taking things and aspects of one part of people's lives and transferring them to another. This is a very powerful thing to do in many parts of your life, but in creative ventures in particular, business, looking for creative solutions to things. Oftentimes you will find the solutions to things that are the most effective will come from aspects and topics that don't even seem like they're related a lot of the times. Now, this quote that I started off with, this social diversity boosts collective intelligence, comes from the book Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. All right, so he's the one who penned that quote, and if it wasn't him, it's somebody he studied. So what I'm saying is, he gets the credit for that. I'm just like the messenger. I believe I see his book back there. It's the orange one, 4th or 5th from the bottom there. Yeah, 4th from the bottom there. Great book, by the way, on networking, on understanding how to bring people together in different parts of your life. It's not just about networking for business, although for that, for sure, and it works very well for that, but also just friendships, also love and romance, also bringing families together, just a lot of that stuff. So what do I mean here? I have another video that is on the topic. It's a related topic called your virtual or a fictitious board of advisors. And what I mean is, sometimes you can't get the board of advisors or surround yourself with the people that you really want to in different parts of your life. For example, if you're in business, you want to surround yourself with people who understand business. All right, you want maybe some retail people, maybe some real estate people, maybe some cryptocurrency people, maybe some stocks and bonds and that sort of thing, or banking people. Do you see what I mean? When you're talking about business and finances, you want to surround yourself with those smart people. A lot of the times, 99% of us can't get any of those people in a room together, let alone a whole board. So we call this the fictitious or virtual board. All right, and the other part of the title was, and why you don't want the Kool-Aid Man on it. So what that means is, what is the Kool-Aid Man known for saying? What's his catchphrase? He goes, "Oh yeah." You don't want him on your board of advisors, because your board of advisors is there to be real with you, to be like, no, this is how that subject that you're talking about, this is how it works. In my experience, let me tell you how real estate really is. People think it's this and that. This is what's real. Or in stocks, or in investing or business, or in relationships, or in friendships, or whatever you're talking about here. You don't want the Kool-Aid man on it because you don't want him agreeing with every single thing that you're doing. You want him to agree with some things, or your advisors to agree with some things, but you always want them to be real. Now, when I say collective intelligence is boosted by having like a broad, like surrounding yourself with people of broad experiences, this what this means is you want to be around a whole world of people, not just this one little island and everybody is the same. They got the same political ideals, the same religious values, the same what they think they should do with their lives, or oh, I should go into tech, or oh, I should go into medical, or into the military or something. None of that is wrong, but you don't want to surround yourself simply by people that are of one thought like that. You want to keep the extreme ideology to a minimum. If you want one good extreme ideology to attach yourself to, it's that you don't ever attach yourself to extreme ideology except for where it is absolutely necessary to survive, because extreme ideology keeps you trapped. This is what it looks like. So if you're not this kind of person, and hopefully you're not, if you're watching something like this, people of extreme ideology will surround themselves with people who have the exact same view on everything. Like I said, politics, religion, the job market, social issues, rich and poor, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying any of it is right or wrong. I'm saying, though, if you're sitting in an echo chamber and you surround yourself with just people who completely agree with you, you never learn. Ever. A lot of the things that you like came from people who disagreed. Let me ask you something. Is fried chicken your favorite food? What about tofu? What about, I don't know, an ice cream cone, like chocolate ice cream or something? You can do that with ice cream flavors. Is chocolate your favorite flavor? Odds are it's not. For some of you it is. What about strawberry? What about vanilla? What about something like, I don't know, a holiday peppermint? Do you see what I'm saying? None of those other flavors would have come around. No other foods would really be out there if every single person liked the same exact thing. You would never have expansion of the mind and of the species. And this goes into anything. That's why no matter what side or realm of a political spectrum you fall on, or religious or education or whatever your ideals are, keep your ideals, but you should surround yourself always with people of differing experiences. Have that open mind. People that have impact, you would be surprised, but a lot of them, even if they're idealists, have an open mind and a great holistic understanding about the world, about what's going on around them. They still have their opinions, but lots of them, most of them in fact, are humble. And they listen to the opinions of others. And the more of those kinds of people that you get around each other, the more truly great inventions and innovations of humanity come around. This is why obviously Keith Ferrazzi said this, but this is why this video is about surrounding yourself with a diverse group of people will increase that it will increase that collective knowledge and just everything. You don't want to be in a situation to where you have one solution to everything. Do you ever hear the adage that when all you have is a hammer, every single problem or project in your life looks like a nail? What that means is, like, if you have think about it, if you just got a hammer and you need to fix things or build things, the only thing that you will be, for the most part, effective at is knocking nails into wood or into structures. A hammer is really good for that. A hammer is also good for breaking things that need to be broken down into smaller pieces. But let's say what you're trying to do is I don't know, paint. You're trying to paint a wall, and you take a hammer and you dunk it in the paint and just start hitting the wall with it. That is a very inefficient way of coating a wall with paint, and you're going to just start breaking things and then causing more damage. And you see what I'm saying? So this can be applied. This metaphor here, or analogy, or whatever you call it, can be applied to many things in your life, though. If you're a kind of person who is very close-minded about money, meaning like, oh, if people have over this much money or something, then they stole it or they scammed it or they're bad people or something, you're gonna live a shitty life, because that's a very hammer way of looking at things. I guarantee you, somebody that you know has a lot of money like that, but you really respect them, and you might not even know they have it, because a lot of people with money, it's like the millionaire next door. A lot of people with it, they don't flaunt it. A lot of people that you see driving all these nice cars and buying all this stuff, and they're fronting, right? They're keeping up with the Joneses. Now, I'm here to tell you, man, the Joneses are broke, and so is everyone else trying to keep up with them, because that right there is a game that is played by people with that one track mind when it comes to, like, oh, how money works. You can have that in the wrong way. You can think that, oh, nobody with less than $1 million is worth a damn. That's not good either. So that is having a hammer as your tool with thinking about money and finances. And it doesn't have to be just that. We already discussed how that could be your political beliefs. That could be your religious beliefs. You don't want your beliefs to be at the expense of humanity and people who you're supposed to care about, who you're supposed to lift up. You don't have to have the same beliefs, but this is a very powerful and mature exercise for people to run constantly. Get out of your comfort zone. Surround yourself with people of different expertise and experience. And it's not just things you disagree with, although plenty of that. Sometimes it's like, hey man, let's code a new video game. Do you have any idea how complex something like that is? Like, video games in many ways are more complex than most programs out there, and they require hundreds, if not thousands, of people on teams over years of work to produce. So if you go into there and, yeah, man, I'm gonna make a video game, I got a good idea, we're gonna do something like Call of Duty, I don't know, to where maybe you're a secret agent or something, and you're sent to go somewhere, and you're sneaking through all these enemy territories, and you've got your equipment, like your gun and your knife and your radio or whatever it is, right? And that's all you think about. You're like, okay, now we're gonna just take that and we're gonna start coding. That game will never get anywhere, because it's not enough to just be the conceptual thinker like that, or just think like, okay, we're gonna code this guy with all these things and that's gonna be it. You need level designers, you need multiple different kinds of artists, you need character riggers, right? You need, like, if I didn't say level designers, and you need people to make the game engine if you're not using one. You need audio, so many different kinds of audio. You need conceptual design, you need writers. You need, like, and each of those things I said, there's like 30 people on each of those teams. You need actors, voice actors, and some of the motion capture people to actually act out the animations. You need animators. You need, do you see what I'm saying? So if you're a video game developer and you're like, okay, I have the idea, or I just like making character models, that's all I know and that's all I spend my time around is people who do that, you will never amount to nearly as much as you would if you were on a team of many people, because all of those expertise together make those very complex systems that make a video game work. And this is for any program, right? Or almost anything actually in your life. Most things are this complex. So when you're approaching a new part of your life or something that you want to get to the next level, do not hang out with merely people that have the same opinion and experience as you. It's not just opinion, remember, it's experience. You don't want to have just, like I said, like 5 people that do the same thing. Imagine if you were playing a game of soccer and your team consisted of only goalies. Do you see what I mean? That makes no sense. Like, there is a strength in having different positions and different views and different experiences and expertise. This is a very important lesson for many of us, and the reason why I take it not to the extreme, so to speak, but to the extreme of you need to surround yourself with people of different opinions of you, is because that's where people get hung up on most often. They don't do this. They don't go and enhance their life with new things. It sounds easy. It sounds like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just get some artists and some voice actors for my game and some this and that and get them all together. It sounds easy until, like, you start actually talking to all these people, and what are they saying? It's like, I'm not sure about this game, dude, because what you're saying, it's not that we can't do it, but it's very hard to do that. It's going to take longer than you think. It's going to cost more than you think. There's other, interstitial issues. That is something you want. You want to know those things, because you embark on some huge project or bite off more than you can chew. A lot of times you hit those roadblocks because you didn't surround yourself with people who had expertise in different sectors of life. This can go with like anything. All right, so this is why the lesson here is to surround yourself with different expertise. It helps that socially everybody rises. It's like the rising tide lifts all the ships at once. The tide are the ideas. Every drop of water in that tide is its own idea, and then together, when they get enough of them together, the tide can make waves when it couldn't do that as simple drops of water. That's when it becomes more than the sum of its parts. Those waves and the tide and the rising lifts all the ships. The ships being the people that are coming up with all of these amazing experiences, and they're rubbing off on each other. The edges and the fringes of their expertise are touching each other, and they're like, yeah, let's incorporate that or this. Remember when video games first came out? The first thing, what was it? Was it just Pong? Right, it was a little like table tennis looking game on 2D. Pong, right? If nobody ever got around anybody else, there would never be another video game in the world. Everyone would still just be playing Pong, just in like some super 4K or 8K, okay? it would be crazy. Maybe they'd have VR Pong by now, although probably not, because VR is something that's way different than video games used to be. And with nobody having different opinions and everybody just hanging out with people with the same opinions and expertise, the collective intelligence does not go up. It remains the same, and in some ways it atrophies. Because what happens is you keep making the same thing, people get bored, and then they get unmotivated. They're like, I don't want to continue this anymore. You have to have that humble approach and know that even if it isn't what you would have done, everybody's opinion has some value in it. Something. Alright? So, this is why you want to surround yourself with people of varying opinions. Now, you don't have to do that 100% of the time. Okay, some of the time you want to go into your clubs that, yeah, it's a bunch of people with the same opinions. That's where you catch your breath. That's where you feel that camaraderie. That's where you're like, okay, we're resting because we're not always having to learn 100% of the time and burn a lot of our mental resources on that. Does that make sense? But a lot of people just spend time in that. You probably know somebody or many people in your life that with not just one subject, but probably several, how they're so close-minded. They're so sure of themselves, and they're so sure that they're right on something, or that their thing is the best thing, or whatever it is, and they won't even entertain another point of view. There can be multiple point of views that are all correct, right? Let's take the video game example again. So Pong was a correct point of view. Whoever came up with stuff like Call of Duty, that was another correct point of view. That doesn't mean Pong was wrong. That doesn't mean Mario Kart is wrong, right? That doesn't mean, I don't know, FIFA or 2K or Madden or anything, or Skyrim or any of those things. That doesn't mean they're wrong. they're actually all correct. If they provide value, in a manner of speaking, they're all correct. They're correct ways to solve the problem. How do we make a good game? How do we make an entertaining game? So, like I said though, the issue, the reason I bring up with people with the different opinions that might be different than yours, is you got to swallow some of your pride, is that is what hangs people up a lot. Is the fact that they're like, oh, okay, we'll talk to these people, and their philosophy on what makes a good game is different than yours, and people's ego gets hurt. Now, this doesn't necessarily happen all the time with those things, although you'd be surprised. Like, if you ever meet some people who are video game fans, some of those people are some of the most toxic people out there. Like, PlayStation or Xbox fanboys who say the other team sucks, or like people who like Call of Duty don't like Battlefield, or people who like World of Warcraft don't like whatever else there is. Do you see what I mean? And they become too narrow focused. But you gotta remember, those things that you like would never have come around if everybody just hung out with people who had the same exact opinions on everything and experience and expertise. When I say opinions, you can substitute experience and expertise in for that too, because you want a bunch of different people getting together to make something extraordinary happen. And the more often that you can do that in life, the farther you'll go. Alright? So think about it. Think about what are the things in your life that are being too close-minded. And even if you're not, even if there's nothing that you think that you're being too close-minded on, what's something that you want to expand and get better at or double down on? Odds are you need to introduce a little bit more creativity into that system, and some of it is going to come from other people. And you should have a curious mind. A mind that says, not damn, they got some other opinion. I don't like that because it's not my own, and I'm gonna be, my feelings hurt about it or whatever. You should have that curious mind, like, wow, that's amazing. Even if it's not something you can directly use for yourself, you have to like have a bit of awe in the creativity that comes from other people. Sometimes I'll see people that come up with things. I mean, I consider myself a pretty creative person, and I'll see people come up with things and think, damn, why didn't I think of that? One of the reasons is because the person probably thought about that, but to have executed it, they still, 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, if it's something big, had to have other people there. It wasn't as simple as like, hey, I got this idea, and tomorrow it's out. Think about it. Think about when the last time something new was launched, a new game or a new movie or a new piece of technology that you like. Did somebody think about it and then the next day it was out? No, they had hundreds, sometimes thousands of people around them who shared probably the same mission statement, which means overall you agree with what we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to create something that people are going to like, or we're trying to better our lives in this way. What we might not agree on is the ways that we get there. But what we do as humans is we compromise. We see, okay, how can we meet them halfway and really see how their opinions matter in this situation? And or sometimes their opinions are the only ones that matter with certain things. If it's not in your expertise, like I said, you got your board of advisors there. And remember, we're not going to have the Kool-Aid man on it. The only thing that you want him on, the only board you want him on is if your board is trying to make Kool-Aid or something, or make flavored drinks. Then you probably want the Kool-Aid man on that board because that's his expertise. But in all seriousness, if you're on a board of financial advisors and you have no idea what stocks are, what mutual funds or index funds are, or money market accounts, I don't know. I'm not the authority on any of that stuff, but what I'm saying is, if you're not the authority on that and some of your people are giving you different opinions, they're like, hey, we do this every day, you're making a big mistake, or be careful about this. In those cases, sometimes only their opinion matters about it, because if they're truly deserve to be on your board, they're trying to protect you. And if you know nothing about it, you probably want to listen to them. In this game of life, you'll have many different boards. And you'll also have a board of advisors, or you should have a virtual or fictitious one, like I said, that has one person from each mini board. Like there's a financial board, there's like a health and wellness board, there's a spirituality board, there's a board for education and career, and there, you see what I'm saying, in different sectors. But there's one that your overall life is about. You're like, this is my OG board. I go to them for every single little thing. And then if I need to, I dig down deeper into a more specialized board. But your big board of advisors should have somebody from every sector. You should have a scientist on there. You should have a priest or a holy man on there. Even if you're not a religious or spiritual person at all, you still want that person on there. And you also want somebody that's a health person on there, right? You want a doctor on there. You want like a financial advisor. You want an investor. You want a philosopher on there. Does that make sense? You still want all those people. Sometimes you won't agree with them all the time. But this is what this is talking about. That collective intelligence, even in yourself, goes up. It will skyrocket when you get all those people around you. That's why I always have these books in the background and other ones laying around here that I'm always reading, and that you should be too. And podcasts. And I'm telling you right now, you crack open any of these books or watch any podcast, even if you respect a person like hell, you will disagree with some of their stuff. But that's the point. You don't want to surround yourself with people that all you're doing is like, yeah, man, yeah, I get that, I understand. Now, you want to do that as much as possible with people, but, like, sometimes they're going to come up with some stuff that it's going to be a bit of a hard pill for you to swallow. And that's what you want. You want a little bit of friction in there, because that's when those ideas are being born. Birthing something is not easy, and you don't want it to be. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth a damn. So, remember the importance of surrounding yourself with people of different opinions and different expertise and experiences. It is a strong, very, like I said, this takes a mature person to do this, because it takes a lot of energy and a lot of humility, but it's a strong mental exercise to surround yourself by people with different opinions and expertise, because you're not going to have that same power in those fields as them, but together, if you listen, they will lift you up. So what I want you to do definitely is look in the parts of your life where you want to expand something. Odds are you need to add some people to your board of advisors. Make it a real board of advisors if possible. If not, virtual. Get the people that you really respect. If you want to be a singer or something, you want some people on there that you respect. You want to have like Elvis on there and I don't know, Jennifer Lopez or Mariah Carey or like I don't know many singers, but Beyonce and people like that. You want a bunch of people who rock at it. If any of those people came up to tell you like, hey, look, when you're talking about rhythm and the cadence of your singing and the pitch and stuff, if they're telling you that you're off, you need to listen to them. You're gonna have a different opinion, right? You're gonna think your pitch is fine, probably, but that's why you got them there. They're gonna shore up that weakness, that blind spot of yours. They're not doing it to be mean. They're like, hey man, I see how we're gonna get you to the next level. That's the way you gotta see it, even if that's not what they say. That's the universe putting them there to get you to the next level. You asked for it. Here it is. All right? So, thank y'all so much for being here, and have a beautiful day.